Rock and roll, guys. We're at Meatstock over at Mystery Creek. This is going to be a wicked weekend. This is Friday bands and a car show inside. Tomorrow we got more bands outside and a car show still going. And we've got barbecues got all going on. So we're going to get amongst the whole weekend. I'll try and show you as much as I can. We're going to go video the car vault first and then we'll roam into the concerts and get amongst that stuff in the barbecue. So get amongst, guys. Park up, sit back and get amongst this video. Rock and roll. Holy, park up and brace yourself for this crazy cool weekend of barbecues, rides, beers and wickedly cool bands for a crazy cool weekend of entertainment. For the second year running, Meatstock rocked into Mystery Creek Showgrounds just out of Hamilton to set up for what you would think is a barbecue festival. But this is not just your average barbecue festival. This is honestly something for everyone going on over the weekend, for anyone to get amongst. You don't even have to leave. You can rock it in on a Friday, set up camp, and just party the weekend out. Matt Turnold, who runs the Takapuna Rocks, teamed up with Meatstock and the crew from the Rotovegas Knuckle Draggers Custom Car Club to put this massive indoor display of custom rides, cool bikes, along with old school lowriders and a few muscle cars chucked in as well. In amongst this awesome display were various barbecue supply stands and a huge variety of goodies for cooking up a storm. All sorts of spices, herbs, flavouring, cooking tools was all available to check out and purchase if you wanted. At the back of the hall, the Mitre 10 demo stage was set up for the Master Chef and Master Butcher awards, along with interviews with competitors and suppliers to all this whole vocation. Everything from a bar from better beers to games were set up in the hall just in case the weather didn't play ball, but on this weekend it certainly did, with 3 gorgeous days to get out and get amongst the activities going on outside. Rock and roll. Do you want to tell us how it works?
Hey?
Do you want to tell us how it works?
Yeah.
Go for it. Rock and roll, man.
So you got your 6-ounce sinker.
All right.
So that always goes down first.
Oh, yeah?
That goes all the way down and hits the tap.
Yep.
And then you can have up to 2 hooks on here.
Yep.
Don't go any bigger than a size 4.
Okay.
Make sure you tie your bait on.
Yep.
Come down here, loosen your bait up. Put your bait up over top.
Sweet.
With a bit of Kiwi ingenuity.
Good on you.
Blue tack over here.
Oh, sweet.
Helps hold the line nice and firm.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with
If
you.
you loose, it's just going to snap.
Yep.
And then pull that blue lever there back as fast as you can.
Oh, yeah.
And away you go.
Right, the compressed air shoots it out.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's it.
Rock and roll. Too simple. Too simple. Send it across the room.
Tomorrow.
Excellent. That is so cool.
So this will shoot up to 300 metres.
300 metres. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the little one there will shoot up to 150 to 200.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come with a pump.
Yep.
Grounds around the show hall were packed with barbecues, cooking displays, from open pit, slow burning wood cookers to compact pizza ovens, all turning out food for people to taste. From massive commercial built barbecues to feeding the tribes to simple tools for just cooking at home, the variety of designs from barrel to plate barbecues and even ovens. It's incredible to see them all in one spot just so you could check them out. Now this weekend doesn't just stop at the hundreds of barbecues and cool rides on display. The second hall at Mystery Creek is set up for pool tables, darts, driving simulators and even arm wrestling championship going on. This awesome air-conditioned hall was a welcoming retreat for anyone who wanted to chill out as well.
I'll stay inside the lines. Don't let my prayers go unanswered now. Bright nights, never lasting darksome days. Bright nights, and wearing the stain you made of me. And I wait and I wait and I wait and I
With a throwback in time to cooking a whole pig on the open flame, it only seemed right that the good old knights in shining armour would be there to battle it out in the field in amazing Behurt fighting. Complete with axes, swords and hammers, it was all go in the battle to see which clan could conquer the other by their own technique in battle.
Savior, where are you now? I'm waiting here. Sing for me sweet lullabies. Bright nights, an everlasting darksome days. Bright nights, I'm wearing the stain you made on me, and I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for the bright nights to lead my way through the maze. All I need is just to live one last night. Tired of being in hell all alone. All I need is just to cross the red lights. What we need is just damage. Everything is just down on the upside. Got the shivers in every bone. I was never meant to be in the starlight. Can't fake it, I don't need it. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you need it. I just know what I'm losing. I don't wanna be dead anymore. I don't care what you're doing to me. Sold my soul to a beautiful stranger, but at least I got buried alone. Always knew I was gonna get knocked out. I ain't got no grudge to hold. I can feel it, how you need it, telling me to stop living. Some things won't stay in the shadows. So something goes now. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you need it. I just know what I'm losing. I don't wanna be dead anymore. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you need it. I don't believe what you're selling.
The Meatstock crew arranged for 12 awesome bands to rock the outside stage, right from our Friday over right through to Saturday night. Parking up on the grass with a few mates to catch the bands in a cold one was just perfect after wandering around the halls and the barbecues. This is honestly one hell of a weekend, from wandering around cool cars to check out, to sussing out barbecues and food cooking ideas and watching knights in shining armour smack each other with axes, plus wicked cool bands. There's honestly something for everyone. It's super cool to see so many kids on shoulders raging out to the bands, which you just don't normally get at a rock concert. It's so cool our next generation of metalers is coming up strong. Cheers to the crew at Meatstock for letting me get fully amongst this whole weekend. Rock and roll.